I think she loves being in that environment. She loves playing against people that maybe she played against in club or going back to Louisville, playing in front of some coaches that have coached her all the way up, along with former teammates and all that. According to Meredith, the Ashy cheering section is going to be quite large, and that's just going to drive her to be great. She's not a young player that the crowd's going to rattle her. She's a mature player that the crowd's just going to give her a little something extra, and that's, you look at her Friday night. I mean, we had 4,000 people there, and she sets a program record in digs. And as the match went on, she got better and better and better. And by the fifth set, I mean, she was getting 3 and 4 digs per rally sometimes. I mean, it was just exceptional, and I know she's going to do the same thing when she goes home this weekend. Well, this early in the year, it's really about defining who we are, and we've talked about that several times. Just what are we going to be? We want to be known as a defensive team. We want to be known as a hard-working team. And as the year gets on, we will get more technical. We will get more precise offensively, serving aggressively and making a few more errors early in the season will later transfer into serving aggressively, and the errors will start to come down. But we always want to just be a hardworking team. I mean, that's just, we want to be defined as that. And part of that is physical, part of that is mental. And it takes a great deal of mental strength, mental toughness to come out of the locker room down 0-2 with a big crowd and be able to believe enough in yourself, believe enough in your teammates that we're going to do this and we're going to get this done. Because if you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. You're not going to come out of the locker room and just happen to turn the thing around. You have to make a change, and then they did. And I'm proud of them for that. And even Michigan, I think we were, at the end of the week, I don't know that, well, the players would say they were physically tired, and I would agree we probably were a little bit. I think it was more just we were mentally worn out by the end of it. And that's not an excuse. Michigan was better than we were, period. And that's why they won. I think it's something we need to make sure that we learn from this, playing 4 matches in a short week. We need to make sure that we learn from that to be mentally tougher, because at the end of this next weekend, we're going to play Louisville at home, and they're going to have a packed house. It's not where we're playing, it's not a very big place. We're playing in a Cardinal Arena. It holds less than 1,000 people. But every seat will be taken. There'll be people standing. It'll be packed. It'll be loud. And that's going to be our last opponent. And so we need to be mentally strong to finish the weekend, not just to start the weekend. I think the weekend that we just had was very, very good. I think that, just thinking back through the rankings, going into this last week and who all we played, I would say this last week as a whole was maybe a little tougher, but just the weekend, I would probably agree that this next weekend is probably a little tougher. It's so hard to know early in the year how good people really are, because everything changes from year to year, and rankings are a little bit of a guess early in the year. Utah graduated a lot last year. Seton Hall graduated a lot. But we have a lot of new players too. So everyone's just trying to figure out who they are. And I think Louisville is a good example. They beat Creighton, I believe, in 4. Creighton just swept Kentucky over the weekend, 3-0. So I think that's comparable, as far as the Kentucky team that we played. Seton Hall has had a couple of good wins early. And Utah, out of the Pac-12, you're a team that, if you're going to play in that conference, to be good in that conference, you have to be pretty solid. And there's a reason why they had a top 20 RPI last year, the reason they were ranked 16th to start the year this year. They have new players that are figuring things out, but as they do, they're going to be a very, very good team. And so I would agree it's going to be a very, very tough weekend for us. It means, number one, I'm old. In all seriousness, it does mean that there have been a lot of great players that have worked really hard over a number of years, and a number of great coaches that have worked alongside me to allow our teams to be great. And I've been very blessed to do this for a long time, and seen a lot of success along the way, seen a number of losses along the way. I'd like to add that I have over 200 losses also. But none of those wins have I earned a kill or a block or an ace or anything else. It's about these young ladies, and it's an honor to coach long enough to be there. Didn't hurt that I started my career coaching 4 years of NAI, and they get you off to a nice little head start when you play 45 matches a year. But it is, it's just a reminder, just to kind of a stop and pause, and maybe a think back to all the kids along the way. Started with my first ever collegiate recruit, Michelle Dodgel from Athens, Ohio, interestingly enough, that started Indiana Wesleyan with a group of kids that turned the program around. They went from 7-31 to 43-4 in 4 years, and paid a pretty high price to do it. I mean, they worked their butts off. And then you think back to each stop and the kids that have really poured their hearts into it to allow teams to be successful that I got to watch. And I got to stand on the sideline, kind of have the best seat in the house, and get to watch them succeed. And so it's really, it's about the kids. I mean, it's a nice thing to stop and enjoy. It's a good PR deal, I guess. But it means I've been blessed to do this for a long time.